Hello, sports fans. This is Steven Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'll bring you a very special breakdown of the Week 17 matchup between the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers. Before I get right into that, I want to make sure you're subscribed right now to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates for all the playoff games that we have coming up next week and all the hottest debates we have for you on YouTube. Now, without any further ado, let's get right into the action. This week, you have the Minnesota Vikings, who are literally trying to get healthy, preparing for the playoffs, versus the Green Bay Packers, who are searching for answers after being blown out against the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday night. You're looking at Aaron Rodgers, and you're looking literally at overall his confidence. I don't know where his confidence is right now. Going into that game, I thought that Tyrann Mathieu not being there was going to level off the game a little bit and see possibly what was going to be happening. It could have made a change for the Arizona Cardinals. They picked up and he was firing on all cylinders almost each and every play. Foot, hand, neck, shoulder, they were in the same lane as the Green Bay Packers and running faster than the Green Bay Packers in a race. You're looking at Patrick Peterson and what he was able to do, Calais Campbell and them boys creating pressure, getting to Aaron Rodgers time and time again. You could tell by the body language he was very frustrated. This team is not in the place where they want to be. You got to keep in mind, Mike McCarthy, the head coach for the Green Bay Packers, has to push the buttons for Aaron Rodgers. He has to mentally get in his head and show him, look, you got to get it together. This is your time. You got to lead us into the playoffs. This is where everybody after this game is going to reset. Everybody's going to be 0-0. And you got to keep in mind, coming to this game, you want confidence if you're the Green Bay Packers. You want to see Clay Matthews make tackles. Because him constantly, a couple of games in a row, not getting tackles is unacceptable for an all-pro lineman with making that kind of money, defensive lineman / linebacker. So it's just so many things that you're looking at for the Green Bay Packers, so many questions, so many holes, so many injuries. You're thinking to yourself, can this team get back on track? Can they get that swagger back? Can they do everything they need to do in order to not only just beat the Green Bay for the Green Bay Packers to beat the Minnesota Vikings, but can they beat one of the playoff teams that we have in the playoffs right now? So right now, I don't have any confidence that they can go into anybody's home and beat them, let alone from the wild card all the way up to the Super Bowl. I don't have any confidence in them right now. But what I do have is confidence that Teddy Bridgewater can get the job done. Seeing how they play football and how they're able to dominate teams like the New York Giants and things like this, they are a step ahead of the Green Bay Packers. You're looking at how Adrian Peterson is able to get the job done. Teddy Bridgewater. You're looking at the wide receiver position and how it's upgraded over the last couple of years for the Minnesota Vikings. You're looking at that defense. Even though they have a couple of injuries to a couple of key defensive linemen, they're still getting pressure. They're committing to running the football in Minnesota. And also, Teddy Bridgewater is directing the passing lanes like we thought he could. He's not turning the ball over at a high rate. He's managing the game and doing then some, moving the chains with his legs. So that leads me to say, coming into this football game, the Minnesota Vikings are going to have success running the football against the Green Bay Packers. One thing that I see happening is Green Bay coming out starting fast. After being flat the last couple of weeks and starting slow, I think that they're going to come out and they're going to make a little bit of noise in the first half. But you're going to see the Minnesota Vikings know they're in the playoffs. They may take their foot off the pedal, but Adrian Peterson is going to play at least a half of solid football possibly, and he's going to get this chain rolling and lead the Minnesota Vikings to a win. So this really isn't really about who's going to win this game. It's who's going to win this game and stay healthy. Who's going to leave this game with the biggest impression as far as, okay, we're confident going into the playoffs. We're confident knowing what we can do. We just got to get a little bit healthy by the next week so we can win more football games. But I am picking the Minnesota Vikings to win this one. I think if this game gets out of hand, you'll see a lot of starters being pulled immediately because they want to preserve their bodies for the next week where they'll have to likely play a football game. So I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings to win this one against the Green Bay Packers. All you Packers fans, Vikings fans, leave your comments in the comment section below. Also, check out JustMyPicks.com for all the breaking news and all the hottest updates in sports. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get the weekly updates for the playoffs and the hottest debate topics in sports. And as always, like our Facebook page, Facebook.com/JustMyPicks. And we'll see you next week as the start of the playoffs happen. Thank you so very much, and we'll see you next week.